Soyez le bienvenu dans cette classe. Welcome to this class. Là, nous allons aborder des choses très intéressantes ici. For ceux qui suivent notre cours, for those who are following our studies, we've been able to look at the nouns and the determinants, the articles, and then see different types of nouns, and then went ahead to look at the auxiliary verb in French, and we looked at in that auxiliary verb avoir and être and their divergent usage. We also saw how the verb être can be used for identification, for possession, and for identification, we see avoir for possession. But today, beyond avoir used for possession, there are other words that can be used to indicate possession in French. I will call them les possessifs. Là, in this particular point, we are looking at two things, which are adjectives and pronouns. So, look at this sentence. We have c'est mon sac. At the first one, c'est mon sac. C'est le mien. It's my bag. It's mine. C'est ma montre. C'est la mienne. It's mine. Ce sont mes livres. Ce sont les miens. The first row of sentences, the mon, as you can see here, the ma and the me, they all means my, M-Y in English. Whereas le mien, la mienne, les miens mean mine. The first ones are possessive adjectives. They serve as determinants, just like the articles we've studied, introducing the noun. The second section sets are the pronouns, and of course, pronouns introduce nouns, represent nouns in sentences. Let's take it a little bit further. If you observe what we call l'adjective possessive, possessive adjectives. These are used in the place of avoir to indicate possession, and they normally used with any kind of verbs. The verb être, to be precise, goes along. These are the subject pronouns. First of all, for each subject pronoun, there is a corresponding possessive adjective. We have the masculine colon, which is this. We have the feminine colon, this colon. We have the plural colon, which is this colon. We have mon père, my father, ma mère, my mother, mes parents, my parents. Ton fils, ta fille, your son, your daughter, tes enfants, your children. Now that term there goes along with you. That's for familiar people you are familiar with. Son cousin, sa cousine, ses cousins or ses cousines, his or her cousin, and then their cousins. We have notre père, notre mère, nos parents, our father, our mother, our parents, votre fils, votre fille, vos enfants, your children, your cousin, your cousin, your cousin. So these possessive adjectives are placed before the noun, serving as determinants. They indicate possession. I want to say my husband. I'm going to say mon mari. Yeah. I want to say my wife. I say ma femme. I want to say my school. I'll say mon école. That I'm going to touch a little bit as we proceed. Now, if you take a look at what we have here, we have quite a lot of examples which you can read. But here comes the Achilles heel when you are dealing with this possessive adjective. We've seen we have the masculine colon, the feminine colon, the plural colon. And each of the adjective usage is determined by the noun it's trying to introduce. There are times you have feminine nouns But these feminine nouns begin with a vowel or a mute H. A vowel or a mute H. Take for example, you have something like ami, erreur, hésitation. These are all feminine nouns. You're gonna find that instead of using this ma, ta, and sa for them, we opted for mon, ton, son. And the reason is simple. When the noun begins with a vowel or a mute H in French, even though it is feminine, we replace that feminine ma, ta, sa with mon, ton, son when the noun once again begins with silent H or a vowel. Now, having seen that possession, the other way to indicate or to show possession in French is through the possessive pronouns. Pronouns are words, of course, they're part of the nominal group in grammar, and they replace the noun. The pronoun replaces the noun. We have le mien, la mienne, les miens, les miennes. I'm talking about these columns. If you observe closely, it means mine, 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 mine. All of them meaning mine. But the difference is when you say le mien is for masculine objects. Take for example, I say voilà le sac. C'est le mien. Look at the bag. It's mine. Voilà la femme. C'est ma femme. C'est la mienne. She is mine. So we have this column for the masculine. Le mien, le tien, yours, le sien, his or hers, le nôtre, le nôtre, your, ours, le vôtre, yours, le leur, theirs. This is the feminine colon, of course, and this is the masculine plural. So when you are dealing with the pronouns in this context, you must always bear in mind that you will have a different masculine plural from a feminine plural. And so you form the masculine plural from the masculine, you form the feminine plural from the feminine. In other ways, unlike what you are used to earlier, when we have the same plural for masculine and feminine in the possessive adjective, ma, mon, ma becoming me. In this context, le mien, les miens, la mienne, les miennes. You must be able to note the difference. Orthographically, as you look at the adjectives and the pronoun, we have not. Not. We have this phoneme, or. Then we have le nôtre for the pronoun, a. And we have o. So you take note of the circumflex, that is the Achilles heel, because students often have issues and difficulties dealing with that. So these are pronouns and adjectives that you can use to indicate possession, like the verb avoir indicates possession. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is going to be what I call the possession. The determinant. So I've seen possession. Let's come to the demonstrative. One thing is to indicate possession, but there are times we want to kind of indicate some thought, as a this, that in English. The equivalent in French, we call them the démonstratifs. Les démonstratifs. Like the possessions we saw, the possessifs, We have for adjective, for pronoun. Something applies here. Look at this sentence with me now. We have for this sentence here, je voudrais ce gâteau, cette brioche, et ces croissants. The word so here means this. The word cette here means this. The word c'est means these. These. Moi, je voudrais celui-ci, celle-ci, ceci. Celui-ci, celle-ci, ceci are all pronouns, demonstrative pronouns. Let's take it one at a time. L'adjectif démonstratif. These agree with the nouns, of course, that they do. They are used to indicate or designate things and people that are present, and the thing could be close or far away. Take a look at these three sentences now. We have in this regarde ce pont, cette église, ces statues. Look at this bridge, this church, this statue. This. Now, the word là-bas can be added to talk about distance. We say, ce monument là-bas, this monument over there. C'est l'opéra, is the opera. So, that is what you need to take note of. So, when you are talking about periods of times that are close, you can use si or la as well. It's not every time we use là-bas. When you use si, it indicates closeness to that's proximity. When you use la, it indicates the thing is far away, and the thing is a bit far. For example, we have ce mois-ci, this month, this particular month, or the following month immediately. Then when you say ce mois-là, this month, last month, that is this, that month, is a bit far away. So this, that, ce mois-ci, ce mois-là in French. Like we studied in the possessive adjective, there is something to also take note of when you are dealing with feminine nouns. But whereas in the possessive adjective we saw it with feminine nouns, here we are seeing the masculine nouns. So when a masculine noun begins with a vowel or with a mute H, this so, which is for the masculine, become set. So instead of saying so ami, we now have set ami. Instead of saying so we have set this man. But when the H is called H aspiré, like hero become so hero. For H aspiré, you can go back to our studies on nouns and determinants, especially the articles, that is clearly stated there. Now, the demonstrative pronoun, celui, celle, ce, and celle. Celui is for masculine. Ce vélo est à port. Let's look at this sentence. Ce vélo est à port. This bicycle is for port. Celui-ci or celui-là, this one or here, this one over there, is for Léa. So this celui-là is replacing the vélo. Cette moto est à port. Celle-ci or celle-là est à Léa, replacing the moto. For the plural, for masculine, you go with so. Ces vélos sont à port. Ceci, cela sont à Léa. I said the verb has changed to the plural form of the verb. Ces motos sont à port. Celles, for the plural, si. Celles-là sont à Léa. These are very important stuff to take note of. Now, when you come to celui-ci, celle-là, they are used to also express possession. À qui ce vélo? C'est celui de Léa. It is that of Léa. Celui de Léa. So these are the various forms we kind of indicate, we demonstrate. So I've seen the possession, but also the demonstratives. The last thing we want to look at in this video, as briefly as we want to make it, is called the indefinite. The indefinite. Now, why are we going to look at the indefinite? Very, very important aspects of the language. The indefinite. We call them les indéfinis. Les indéfinis. Now, in this les indéfinis, as you observe, look at the sentence with me. We have j'ai plusieurs romans de Duras, quelques romans de Camus, tous les romans de Modiano. Je ne lis aucun roman de Zola. These ways I highlighted happens to be indefinite adjectives. Why? Because they are preceding the nouns roman here, roman here, roman here, and roman here. So they are serving as determinants. When we come to les indéfinis, we are looking at words that express quantity. But these quantities are not definite. They're not finished. You cannot be definite with it. They express quantity. Look at beginning from the adjective. Because they are very much alike, we will take them as slowly as we can here before we wrap up this class. So we have adjective indéfini. Je connais quelques étudiants. I know some students. Je connais plusieurs étudiants. I know several students. Je connais chaque étudiant. I know each student. Je connais tous les étudiants or toutes les étudiantes. I know all the students. Je connais tout le groupe or toute la classe. I know all the group, all the class. Je connais certains étudiants, d'autres étudiants. I know certain students, I know other students. Je ne connais aucun étudiant. I don't know any student. I know 0 students. As you look at these particular sentences, these words quelques, plusieurs, chaque, tout, toutes, certains, d'autres, aucun. They express quantity, but the quantity here is indefinite. I know some, we don't know the number. But therefore, we say for quelques petits nombres, nombre plus important, individuel en particulier, totalité d'éléments, when you say you want to, totalité d'ensemble, that's the entire group, partie ensemble, certains, and then you have quantité zero in that particular context. Now, outside that, let's start picking it one at a time. Look at the word chaque equals to or two. Les éléments d'un ensemble pris séparément. Now, when you say chaque étudiant, each student a un livre. Each student have a textbook. I can say tous les étudiants ont des livres. All the students have a textbook. Now, you must take note that this word chaque means each. I can say chaque mari, chaque femme, chaque personne. So we have these two for now, that means all. We have for masculine, the feminine, and the plural. We have tout le groupe. All group is masculine, singular. Toute la classe. We have tous les étudiants, toutes les étudiantes, toutes les étudiantes in that context. So you have this representing all. While the noun is singular, you use for the singular one. As we forge ahead, two or toots, as you can find here, two or toots plus timing equals to each. Tous les jours. When you say tous les jours, it means chaque jour, every day. Toutes les nuits, chaque nuit, meaning each night. So you can alternate in your speaking and your writing to enrich your language and to prove mastery. As we continue, we have aucun, meaning you don't have anyone. It's normally put in a negative. Je ne connais aucun étudiant. I don't know any students. Aucun étudiant n'est venu. No student came. Nobody came. Then you have quelques, some. Quelques. You have quelques amis, some friends. Quelques amis. D'autres, that's others. J'attends d'autres étudiants. I'm waiting for other students. I'm waiting for other students. So as you take a look at what we have seen so far, these words that are indeterminate, they give us the indeterminate pronoun. Now let's come to le pronom indéfini. We have seen adjective and défini. You will find that the words are pretty almost the same. Let's take it apart. The first one, we have this sentence. Les étudiants sont tous sympathiques. Tous. Certains sont très jeunes. D'autres plus âgés. Quelques-uns sont bilingues. These pronouns, replacing the nouns, they are kind of identical to those adjectives we have seen. The only difference is when you come to one of them, which is quelques-uns. We're going to see the last one I marked there. Well, let's take them one after the other. We have parmi les étudiants, this sentence now, among the students, plusieurs sont scandinaves. Certains sont danois. D'autres sont suédois. Aucun n'est français. Quelques-uns sont bilingues. Chacun est intéressant. You observe that after these pronouns, the next thing that follows is a verb, not a noun. That's how you know the difference in sentences. If it were adjective, a noun would have followed, not a verb. Now, we have seen the meaning remains the same. It doesn't change, but these are pronouns. Several, certain, others, none, some of them, each, for chacun. That's what we have in front of us. Now, let's take it up. We have two and toutes. Elles sont toutes sympathiques. Whereas we put the other ones before the verb, but these two and toutes comes after the verb in French. So, ils sont toutes sympathiques. Elles sont toutes sympathiques. So the toutes comes after the verb instead of coming before the verb. Now, tout can also be used as a neutral pronoun to refer to things. We have tout va bien, all is well. Je comprends tout, I understand all. Somebody does something very good to you, you want to say, I thank you for everything. You say merci pour tout, and you want to say thanks to everyone, merci à tous. So you can see that tout has a divergent meaning, which you have to master. Now, as we think of wrapping it up, you are going to find that these are quelqu'un, quelque chose, and of course, quelque part. Quelqu'un, quelque chose, quelque part. We have them replying to questions of qui, quoi, où. Qui is who, quoi is what, who is where. This is what I'm talking about here. qui, quoi, who. J'attends quelqu'un. I'm waiting for someone. Quelqu'un is someone. I will say j'attends personne, meaning nobody. Je cherche quelque chose, something. Quoi? If you're searching for nothing, is rien. Je vais quelque part. I'm going somewhere. Somewhere. Quelqu'un de bien. Somebody there's a way to do. Quelque chose de nouveau. Something new. Rien de spécial. Nothing special. So these are indefinite pronouns used. Look at this sentence now. Quelqu'un. Quelqu'un could be invariable, meaning it can be used both for masculine and feminine. Paul est quelqu'un intelligent. Paul is somebody that is intelligent. Marie est quelqu'un d'intelligent. Mary is also somebody that is intelligent. En fait, en résumé, summarily, in French, adjectives and pronouns go together, especially at the level of possession, of demonstration, and of course the indefinite. So, if you stay to the end of this video, merci beaucoup d'avoir la patience de rester ici. Maintenant, nous allons terminer cette étude. We're going to end this lesson et on va avoir d'autres leçons à la fin. À tout à l'heure. See you later.